I recently watched K-Pop Demon Hunters, the Netflix original movie with a group of you guys in my fan Discord server. About a week ago, we had a big old watch party movie night last Friday night, and it was a good time. We had fun with it. It was a very good watch. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I thought it was fun. I wouldn't call myself like a giga fan of it or anything like that, but oh boy, did a lot of people who came out of that movie take that from it. They are going crazy for that movie. Like, the kids are freaking out for it, apparently. The adults are freaking out for it. Like, this is one of the biggest movie releases since Frozen. It's got cross-demographic appeal, and a lot of people are into it. It's also a pretty creative concept. I thought the idea of it was a little silly. Without really spoiling anything, I'll give you a breakdown of what the idea of it is. Basically, in Korean mythology, demons are more like people who died, or spirits of some kind of idea that have gained enough power and sentience to become like a creature of malice, or at the very least trickery type will, you know? They're not like demons in Christian mythology. They're more like fae, or you know, they're more like a local sort of ghost story, and they don't serve like the devil or exist in hell or anything like that. It's just different kind of demon. It's like if you just use the term demon super broadly to refer to kind of ethereal monsters in general. You know, if you called any ghost a demon. So more or less, these three main characters are K-pop stars. Now, I'm not a big K-pop person, but the reason why they are is that supposedly Korea has been protected for, you know, going on centuries now by bards who perform music and use their magical powers, their bard powers, like you would see in any, like, fantasy media, to suppress demonic presence. And the more people that they get, that they influence with their music, the more powerful their protective songs become for the population. And the idea is that this long line of bards that we now know as K-pop artists have needed to grow their success in order to empower their magic, and as such protect as many people as possible from the presence of demons, which most people don't even know exist. And they absolutely fight them and kill them, like, hand to hand, but for the most part, their main thing is that their music is protecting everyone from demons. It's a cool concept. It's fun. I really liked that idea. Like, they introduced that idea and explain it right at the start of the movie, and I immediately had my question of, why are they K-pop artists who also hunt demons on the side? Like, why would you not commit fully to one of those things? Why would you ever do one of those things on the side as like a side hustle? Now we know. Knowing that basic explanation, the movie was just way easier to enjoy than I thought it would end up being. Had a good time with it. It was fun. I don't know what else to say. Now, when anything is fun and successful and has a very broad appeal, conservatives try to do one of two things with it. If there is an existing anti-fan base for that piece of media, they will desperately pander to that anti-fan base and try to radicalize those people to the far right, using the idea that that piece of media represents wokeness. And if they're smart, they'll try to claim that piece of media, and they'll try to argue that secretly that piece of media represents everything the right stands for. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Over the last 24 hours, people on Twitter have been having a real laugh at this trend of YouTube videos coming from Christian conservative accounts talking about, I mean, the videos are titled anything from the surprising Christian themes in K-pop Demon Hunters to when Netflix accidentally made a Christian movie, in reference to K-pop Demon Hunters. That's right, folks. A lot of these people are not exactly familiar with any cultures outside of America, and so they hear Demon Hunters and they're like, oh my god, pro-Christian? Dude, Doom is my favorite Christian video game because Doom guy kills demons all the time. Yeah, that's how that works. Anyway, folks, let's watch this video. Everyone's been going pretty hard dunking on this channel. I'm curious to see, do they make any salient points? Is it true that under the surface, K-pop Demon Hunters is actually pro-Christian? Let's find out.
About demon-killing K-pop stars sounds like the last place you'd expect to find a Christian story. But here's the twist. A secular team accidentally made one of the most surprisingly Christian films I've seen in years. There isn't a single Bible verse in this film, yet it echoes scripture and how truth and love overcome shame. So let's unpack.
Hold on a second. Is this a Christian who likes a piece of media because said piece of media is basically just a positive story that teaches its viewers a good lesson? Like, that is arguably all the good Jesus-like stuff from Christianity. Like, there's a lot of crossover there. So he's arguing that's Christian? Being a good person is Christian whether you're Christian or not? Is his argument? Okay.
How Netflix accidentally released one of the best Christian movies of the year. K-pop Demon Hunters took the world by storm. Within 8 weeks, it hit over 180 million views, becoming Netflix's most popular original animated film of all time. Its music did even better, with multiple songs reaching over 200 million streams. But how could a movie about K-pop stars and demons have a Christian message? Well, a big part of the answer is tied to the lyrics of the music. I've watched this movie multiple times, and I'm thoroughly convinced that the music is, without a doubt, inspired by themes we find in the Bible. We'll dive into the music throughout the video, because it is key to understanding the theme of the movie. Spoiler.
Okay. Let's hear him out.
Ahead, just so you're aware. K-pop Demon Hunters explores the themes of shame and redemption. Shame is something we struggle with every day, at least to some extent. We've all felt it. It's a lingering, nasty voice that tells us we'll never be good enough or smart enough. While this movie does have villains like the Saja Boys, or even demons, the real villain of this movie is shame itself. No.
So far, so good? Because, yeah, like, I would argue that at least the main character, her main arc is like fighting shame. She's ashamed of herself, she hates herself. But I'm sorry, are we gonna try to argue that Christians are opposed to shame? And that Christians are the monopolizers of the concept of redemption? Is Red Dead... Okay, I guarantee you this guy's got a video on his channel from back in 2018 when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out called How Rockstar Accidentally Made a Christian Story, trying to convince gamers who liked Red Dead Redemption 2 that the concept of a bad man doing good acts to gain redemption in death is a Christian concept, and try to get them, like, Christ-pilled off that. This is very vague and stretchy, you know what I mean? Like, you can argue that this story does not... Like, what's really weird here is this feels like a situation where a Christian can't find anything about a popular piece of media to be, like, outraged about. And so instead of being like, oh, I guess it's just a piece of media that has literally nothing objectionable in it, even to me and my uptight ass, they have to say, oh, because I find nothing wrong with it, it's on my side? No, dude. The fact is that secular people are not anti-Christian. They're not. Like, secular people are not, by definition, anti-Christian. They're not anti-Christian values. Many secular people enjoy reading the Bible. Many secular people appreciate Christianity and Christians for the good parts of it, less so the bad parts, like judging gay people and saying that that being gay is a sin, that kind of stuff. So, like, no, it doesn't make it Christian. It just means that you don't take issue with it like you do most popular media.
Literally, Shame is Guima, the main villain. He's the villain that the main characters spend the movie fighting, both externally and internally. That's what I think is so genius about this film. It personifies something we battle with every day and shows us how to overcome it. And it mainly shows us through music.
This guy is not a complete retard. I am surprised. He actually is capable of media analysis. Way better that, like, this is already better media analysis than The Critical Drinker, I'll tell you that. This guy deserves The Critical Drinker's entire subcount. I genuinely think they should swap YouTube channels. This guy deserves it more than him.
Becomes very important when we discuss how the main characters actually
This guy's also clearly not hammered while recording. That's much more glowing representation.
overcome shame. So where does the Demon Hunter part of the movie fit in? Huntrix is a trio of K-pop stars who sing by day and hunt demons by night. These are the main characters of the story. The biggest character arc, and the one the story focuses on, is Rumi. Her journey is probably the most important piece of the puzzle.
Okay. Does he know that the demons in this movie are not, like, the same demons that he's thinking of? Also, in Christianity, demons are really weird. Because, like, sometimes they're a real thing. Sometimes they're an idea. Sometimes they're your literal trauma. And, like, the Bible refers to all these things as demons. Sometimes actual physical demons cause your trauma, and your trauma is then referred to as demons in the Bible. So, like, that term, biblically, is already really weird, but this story is not referring to the biblical kind of demon at all. That term has just got a fair amount of flexibility, and so it's used in the English translation of what they mean. The best term would actually be more like devils, right? Like something like think of like Chainsaw Man type shit. Yeah.
Puzzle here. You see, Rumi has a problem. A big one. Because her father was a demon, she thinks she's a big mistake. Because killing demons is a part of her job, and why should a demon hunter have demon heritage? Now, as we'll soon see, the demons in this movie are less like the demons we find in scripture and more like an analogy for shame. Part of Rumi's transformation...
I feel like the movie would have been about 60 minutes shorter if somebody just whipped out their phone and showed her all the cinematics that Illidan was in all of the World of Warcraft expansions. Like Illidan starting up the demon hunters and everything, and she'd be like, oh, okay, fucking raw, I'm like Illidan. Like, movie over. Credits roll, happy ending, it's all good. Conflict solved.
includes overcoming this shame and putting
K-pop demon hunters. K-pop demon hunters if someone showed her a clip of Illidan in the start of the movie.
on a new identity, one separate from her past. And a big part of her character transformation would not have happened if it wasn't for one special character. That character is Janu, the lead member of the Saja Boys. We first meet him in the underworld, the place where Guima and the demons live. Janu sings of how Guima feasted on souls.
This is actually not the underworld, believe it or not. He's wrong here. Like, the underworld, as they're referring, this is not like hell or anything like that. It's not like an afterlife setting they're in right now. They're actually in the physical plane of reality. Like, they're somewhere on planet Earth in these scenes. Like, the way that demons exist in this setting, as established by the movie, is that they're just not visible to normal humans. Like, they're gathered in some, like, field somewhere on planet Earth having this conversation. They're not in, like, hell or something. They're more like in a dimension of visibility that normal humans can't see, but it's still physically there. But they're actually physically standing in like a field somewhere on Earth. They're like on a cliff.
But then the hunters sang, using their voices to push back the darkness, making him weak. Janu then proposes a plan to get Guima back to the top of the food chain. But there's a caveat.
The memories, I want them erased.
Whatever mistakes Janu made, he feels so much shame and condemnation for what he did that he wants his memories to be completely wiped. Even though there's conflict between Huntrix and the Saja Boys, Guima
in this setting, spoiler, the demons are basically evil ghosts.
Is without a doubt the main antagonist here. The Saja Boys are also a big piece of the puzzle. Even though they look attractive on the outside,
humans.
when they're in their true form, their ugliness is plain to see. Sin appears in a similar fashion. Shame says to hide behind a mask, but that mask does.
Well, okay, you've lost me here. When they become their demon form, their ugliness is plain to see. That is explicitly not the case. I'm not even like, I watched this movie once, to be clear, and I paid attention to it, but I wasn't like at the edge of my seat, eyes glued to the screen. And yet one thing I remember is at the end of the movie, they had the audacity to show their true form, and the crowd cheers. You all remember it, right? When they come out like fully in their demon form with the hats and the cloaks and everything, and they're fully in their demon form, and the crowd doesn't give a fuck. They're just cheering for it. Like, that was a key, like, oh fuck moment of the movie. So no, their true ugliness does not show when they become their full demon form. The people didn't care when they became their full demon form, and that was like a oh fuck moment, actually. Yeah. They actually became the most tempestuous to the people when they showed their true form, not in disguise.
On the outside, when they're in their true form, their ugliness is plain to see.
Like here, that is, you can use this frame to very effectively get this argument across, but all the humans cheer and don't give a fuck at the end of the movie when they show their true form. Also, they don't look much different besides the purple skin.
Sin appears in a similar fashion. Shame says to hide behind a mask, but that mask doesn't mean sin is any less apparent. It only gets worse the more you try to hide it. One concern I've seen Christians have is that this
shame is sin? Or is the being half demon supposed to represent sin? Are they trying to argue that her being half demon represents original sin? I see.
movie glorifies demons. However, that is far from the case. The fandom page of K-pop Demon Hunters gives us a clue. It says, Guima is depicted as manipulative, cruel, sadistic, power-hungry, and ruthless. This line makes it obvious. Guima is not an ambiguous bad guy. The movie is clear.
Also, you're missing one other detail that I feel is kind of missing the point of the character. Desperate. That's one of his big character features that you can't really leave out if you want to understand the character. Bro's fucking desperate. He's got a little carrot on a stick in front of him, and he wants that carrot. He is fucking desperate for that carrot. And in the end, it ends up, well, you'll see.
About the bad guys and what side of the aisle they stand on. What's different with Jinwoo is that he is a human who was cursed with demon marks as a sign of his shame. But he is not a demon. He thinks he is, and so does Rumi at one point. But they are identifying themselves with demons, creatures of shame and sin, because of their past mistakes. This becomes very important when we talk about their character transformation. The Hunmoon is another big piece of the puzzle. It acts as a barrier between humans and the demons, aka shame. And one of the primary roles of Huntrix, the demon hunter.
Wait, no, the demons don't represent shame. The half-demon nature of the main character does, but the demons themselves, well, there's a lot of different cases of allegory in this movie. For example, the boy band that they end up having to go up against, each of them represents like a sin committed by the K-pop industry. And I don't mean sin in like the like biblical way. I literally mean like a horrible thing done by the K-pop industry to their, more often than not, their male idols, more so than their female idols, which is why it's the boy band that represents these things, because they're also the victims of these things. One of them is representative of the infantilization of grown adult men who, and it's forced upon them. They don't get to decide it. If the media decides they're going to be the baby-faced one, if they have like a little bit smoother of a face, guess what? The media's decided you're going to be a little baby, and you've got to constantly be talking baby talk and making baby faces, shit like that. It's dehumanizing and disgusting when it's forced upon you with the contractual obligations and the threat of just being nothinged by the industry that exists in this absolutely cutthroat area of media. And then of course you've got like the sexualization, which is represented by the guy that they're always drooling over with the abs and pecs and everything, who's ripped. And even he talks about how he's more than a piece of meat, you know? Like, each of them is all a representative of like an evil thing done to artists by the K-pop industry. So don't get me wrong, the demons definitely represent a lot of different things, but broadly, to the population, the existence of demons does not represent shame. The movie is not claiming or even implying that is what the demons are meant to be. Demons' existence as a whole is meant to be taken quite literally, ironically enough. I never thought I'd have to tell a conservative to stop looking for allegory where there isn't any. But the existence of demons in this story is, they're just meant to be demons that act as a conflict. However, yes, in many cases they do represent certain things, but more on an individual demon by demon basis, less so than like their existence means something or represents something real. No, it's on a case by case, demon by demon basis in this movie.
Hunters is to use the power of their music
He's
to
reaching.
keep the barrier strong. But the big problem with the Hunmoon is that it isn't a barrier at all. It's built on lies and deception, the very thing that powers shame. In its current state, the Hunmoon is like the house built on sand in Matthew 7. It's only after Rumi's character transformation that she and the Hunters can rebuild the Hunmoon on a stronger foundation, one that keeps out the demons and shame for good. The only way to put up a lasting
Well, no, it was that the main character accepted her shame. Like, she stopped being ashamed of who she was and accepted it. Like, a way more, like, you know what's really funny? Way more of this lines up with the idea of a gay or bisexual allegory than it does a Christian one. Like, he is desperately trying to associate anything that the media depicts as bad as an allegory for sin. Like, no. The movie's not claiming or associating itself with Christianity at all here. You're just recognizing the most, like, basic values common in a lot of kids' media, mind you. And this is technically, at least kid-friendly media, not made just for kids, but you know what I mean. Like, this movie isn't exactly touching on themes that are that revolutionary for young adult and kids media. So the way that he's talking about it, it feels like this is the first time he's seen like a modern young adult or children's movie, and he's like, oh my god, I didn't realize they're so Christian. No, they're not Christian, they're woke. This is that wokeness that the right's always complaining about, the telling people to be kind and empathetic and accept themselves for who they are and not to hate themselves for how they were born. That's wokeness you're talking about. This is the shit y'all are always complaining about. Only in this case, the movie's just too successful to attack. Attacking this piece of media is like cutting yourself off from having the fandom of like 90% of the population at this point, because even people that aren't into K-pop or Demon Hunters had a fun time with this movie. It's just a fun movie. Everyone likes it. Anyway, let's try to hear him out a little longer, but I'm running out of patience.
barrier against shame is to replace the lies with the truth. This is where it gets really interesting, because the demons embody what shame does, how it feeds on lies and consumes you. In fact, later
I actually, this is true. Replacing the lies with the truth is what empowers the Hanmun and allows them to basically resolve the conflict of the story and experience a better new norm by the end of the story. That's true. But lying, while it is a sin, deception, lying, whatever, is a sin, or at least it is associated with sin, demons, anti-good, for lack of a better term, I think it's important to remember that, like, everyone hates lying. I think what we're experiencing here is how Christians can't see anything outside of the Christian lens. Like, it's almost like they're watching every piece of media while already having watched, like, the sequel. So they know what's going to happen, if that makes sense. Only in the case of Christians, they don't know what's going to happen, and they don't have some crazy insight into what has happened, but they really think they do. And so it leads to them just seeing their worldview where it doesn't exist. And that's really the best I can take from this, from what I can tell. Anyway, I think that's really all I have to say about this video. It's pretty silly, but overall pretty harmless. I see why people are dunking on it, though. I'm just glad it's not like a hateful right-wing, like, Christian propaganda fest. The guy does seem like his heart's in the right place, and he actually has skill in media analysis, and I stand by what I said. That dude deserves the sub count that the Critical Drinker has, so much more than the Critical Drinker does. I would trade their places in a heartbeat. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way whatsoever, then please consider donating, subscribing, gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com, to support me financially, leaving a like or a comment down below to boost the channel and the algorithm, subscribing in order to get notified when I go live or upload new videos in the future, And if you're a real big fan, follow my social medias linked down below, particularly joining my fan Discord, as that is the main hub of my community and fan base, and come hang out in the Ultimate Circle, where we do watch parties and movies, movie nights every Friday, even gaming events, and I announce all my new streams. If you want to be part of that pillar of my community, then make sure to join the Discord. You won't regret it. Hopefully, though, I will see you again next time. Thank you for watching.